All right, everyone, it is Dokkan time, and I finally have the how to build out for Gogeta, or the Goku Vegeta exchanging into transforming Gogeta. Freaking unprecedented miracle Super Saiyan Vegeta Angel plus Super Saiyan Goku. So, I like this unit. This unit's pretty dang good. They're super satisfying to use. I do think they do have a couple weaknesses that you should be aware of. This was a very difficult unit to judge. When you're making builds for a unit, you have to judge a unit accordingly. And just like the Tech Vegeta, the Tech Goku Vegeta exchange unit, I had a really hard time deciding ultimately what to do with them. And in specific situations, I do not have a team build for this guy right now. That team build will be out on another day. I just feel like it's going to take too much time to really build and put together the team suggestions, and I want to make sure there's enough suggestions for a variety amount of players. So, with all that being said, we're just going to kind of try to jump right into this because there is so much info to go over, basically 3 whole units in one. So, for the Vegeta portion, or for the whole unit, at least this part, the 200% options are, they're okay. They're pretty decent. You got the Super Saiyan Trio. I think that's a very excellent. I feel like the physical Super Saiyan Trio has gotten a lot of stonks. I must say that this unit right here has gotten a lot of stonks from this anniversary, just because they are 200% leader, but they do have a good amount of extra support that can make up for the lack of not being a 220, 250 leader. As far as other leaders go, I would probably have to just ultimately say only the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. With the meta curve that we've gotten out of the 10th anniversary, I don't feel like the Super Saiyan Vegeta is viable any longer as a leader specifically. I just don't think he's good enough any longer. It's not that you couldn't use him. It's just I'm trying to make sure you focus on a full-on 200% plus leaders. I'm trying not to let you push towards the 170 range, because moving over to 220s and 250 leads means that it's a huge gap between 170 to 220. That's a huge amount of stats difference, and it is definitely going to show on battles moving forward. He is also on the 220 lead for the Tech Goku Vegeta exchange unit that exchanges into or transforms into Vegito. So just keep that in mind. He is also 220 on that lead. The leader skill for this unit is Successors, Fused Fighters, or Pure Saiyans. Ki plus 3, HP 200%, and attack and defense 170%. And then an additional HP attack and defense to 50% for those who also belong to the Gifted Warriors or Fusion category. I will definitely straight up tell you that the Tech Vegito has a better leader skill. Mostly because it's just a more wider variety of units for the 50% boof. Whereas with the Gogeta, it's very centered into fusions and Gifted Warriors, and that is a very small pool of units that I don't feel is as diverse as the Tech Vegetos. I do like this unit. I think he is still a good leader. And you can still definitely use him. But yeah, I think it was definitely a bit of an L to be giving them the Gifted Warriors for the 50%. Now, in the Vegeta state, you will be raising attack on 12 key and greatly raising attack on 18. So those are the stacking points. So you will greatly stack on 18 and just normal raise stack on the 12 key. Otherwise, he is greatly raising defense on each of those attacks. It's just not stacking. For his passive, he is Ki plus 5, attack and defense 200. He receives an additional Ki plus 3 per rainbow key sphere, which is insane. Successors or fusion category allies get an additional Ki plus 1 and defense plus 40%. I do like that defense boof. For 3 turns from his entry turn, he gets 300% extra defense and guards all attacks. This is to try and make it so he is able to be in slot 1, but I do not feel that Vegeta himself should be in slot 1. He's defensively, he could be okay in certain circumstances early on in the fight, which is fine. but depending on the fight you go into, you could get caught off guard and lose a lot of health. So be very aware of that. When attacking with 10 or more ki, he does have attacks effective against all types. And when attacking with 20 or more ki, he launches an additional super. You really want to hit that 20 ki so you can get a free super. And in the second or third slot, he will guard all attacks, even if it's after those 3 turns from the entry. And then he will launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super. And then starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, you can exchange into Goku. Just keep in mind that if you want to transform into Gogeta, you do need to exchange to Vegeta specifically to use his active, because Vegeta is the active to go into Gogeta. So just keep that in mind. His links are Prodigy, Super Saiyan, Experience, Fire, Saiyan Warriors, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. He's going to share a little bit of different links only because of Prodigies. Otherwise, it's just basically going to be your standard kind of Super Saiyan links and Experience Fighters units. So other Anniversary units, other Goku Vegeta units. That's primarily who he's going to be linking with the best. Now, moving on to Goku. Once you exchange into Goku, things will change up just a little bit. But now Goku will be stacking defense on 12 and 18 ki. So on his 12 ki, he'll be just normal stacking defense and greatly raising attack for the turn. And then on 18 ki, he'll be greatly stacking defense and greatly raising his attack for the turn as well. He'll have ki plus 5 attack and defense 200, and he'll also get ki plus 3 per Rainbow Ki Sphere. And successors or fusion allies will be getting ki plus 1 and attack plus 40%. No, you'll lose the defense buff, so keep that in mind. And when attacking, he'll get 100% attack and launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super. And when he receives an attack, he'll have defense plus 200%. And when receiving an attack at 10% or more, he'll have an extra chance to evade by 10%. When attacking with 20 or more ki, he'll launch an additional super attack. And as the first attacker in a turn, he has guard and 70% dodge chance. Now, what this means is that he's a dodge 1 tank. He's a dodge tank. So that is something to be aware of, because he can definitely get hurt from normals. And this hurts quite a bit. And unfortunately, unless he's in slot 1, he does not have any extra defense. He doesn't have any extra guard. He just has his raw defense. So be very wary if you're using Goku and he's not in slot 1, because that slot 1 dodging is the only thing he's got for defensibility. If you use the active skill while you're in Goku exchange, you will exchange you will use the active for Viku, which does actually cause ultimate damage and delays the enemy's attack for a turn, which is very good. It's very handy. It's a nice thing to do. And what it also does is it makes it so that you evade enemies' attacks for 3 turns. So it can be utilized very strategically, I feel. But it is definitely, when you do this, it's the same thing as if you were using the Tech Vegito. If you use this Viku ability, you will waste the ability to transform into Gogeta, unfortunately. So just be very, very wary on choosing if you're going to use Viku or Gogeta. His links are a little bit different than Vegeta's. You'll have All in the Family instead of Prodigies. Otherwise, they're all the same links. And just because of All in the Family, you'll be having a little bit better options as far as like Gohans and so forth. But otherwise, other Goku and Vegetas will be your best link partners as well. So, I need more water. There's a lot to discuss with these units, guys. So, finally, after all of that, let's go take a look at the Gogeta unit. So, Gogeta is broken. He's broken. He's so good. So just like the Tech Vegito unit from part 1, he just has an ultra super attack, which is massively raising attack and defense. And then his passive skill is as follows: fully recovers HP, ki plus 5 attack and defense 300, receives an additional key +4 per rainbow key sphere. He guards all attacks. Damage reduction of 60%. Nullifies negative effects is crazy ability that I don't recall having seen on a unit in ages. And it is crazy what this could do for you. And I honestly couldn't tell you everything it does yet because I don't know everything that it does just yet. Nullifying negative effects means you don't lower attack or defense. You don't get stunned. You don't get sealed. It's crazy. It's a really crazy effect. And yeah. He also launches 2 additional super attacks and performs critical automatically. And he is supporting attack and defense and key +2 for successors and fusion category allies. And when attacking, he gets an extra 100% attack. And when receiving attacks, he gets another defense plus 100%. And for every rainbow key sphere attained, he gets an additional attack plus 50%. You are able to obtain 5 rainbow key spheres, so just keep that in mind. And then you also get an additional 5% damage reduction rate for every rainbow key sphere. So that is a possibility of getting 5 rainbow key spheres. So that'd be 25% extra damage reduction on top of the 60, which means he has 85% damage reduction potentially. And he foresees enemy super attack for 4 turns, so you could definitely say he's almost immortal. He causes ultimate damage to the enemy and all allies' attack and defenses plus 54%. So he is also supporting when you use his active skill, and he gains attacks effective against all types for the turn. Yes, attacks effective against all types and auto crits do technically stack on top of each other and do a little bit extra damage, technically. So changes AGL key spheres to rainbow key spheres as well. That you more likely to get the 5 rainbow key spheres this way. He has Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Over in the Flash, Fuse Fire, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power as his links. And then he is on quite a few good categories, and of course he is going to link up best with all other Vegetas and Gogetas mostly. Otherwise, I would look out for the Over in the Flash, what was it? Over in the Flash, and Prepared for Battle links, and just standard Super Saiyan links really is what he's going to best link up with at the end of the day. I find it's not too bad right here. But yeah, he's got plenty of good links, plenty of good partners to be rocking with. So let's go ahead and finally go take a look at some defense numbers. Like, holy crap, man, it's a mouthful trying to get through all of these. So looking at Vegeta's defense numbers, you'll see that while for the first 3 turns in slot 2 or 3, he can have some very respectable defense numbers at post 18 key, up to 1.62 million defense on a double. Triple 2.7 million defense. That's really good. Unfortunately, you will lose a lot of defense after those first 3 turns. I don't think he shows it, unfortunately, but with 20 or more key, yeah, you can get up to a very respectable millions of defense along with having guard. You'll survive a 3 million super, no problem. So now, let's go ahead and go take a look at the Goku stats. So these are the Goku defense numbers, and they are a little bit different. And as you can see, until you've actually received an attack, the defense is dramatically lower. And I do mean dramatically lower. You really do need to be aware of this. You could get into some serious pain, real pain, being only at 500k defense, even post 18 key super. Yeah, it's pretty rough because you have to receive an attack first. So basically, you need to get hit with a normal first, because a super would just straight out kill you. The good news is if you do get hit by a normal, you get an extra 10% dodge with Goku. So he has 80% dodge chance in slot 1 specifically. But yeah. If you actually manage to stack for 2 turns, you will have like a stupid amount of defense and you won't even have to worry about anything. I don't even know how this stacks up like this. I feel like he calculated this incorrectly. But what do I know, I guess. But anyways, once you get into Gogeta, you're just immortal. Even, you know, regardless of how stupidly high the defense in here goes, to like 7 million defense with 60% guard and 60% damage reduction and guard. You know, he's like immortal. You know, Gogeta is just straight up immortal. Like, I don't even need to show you the defense numbers because he literally will live in almost anything from the looks of it. I need to test everything still, but the dude is immortal. It's crazy. He's so good. But anyways, let's just kind of get into the builds finally. I'd like to discuss them a little bit here and there. So let's just get into it. So as far as the 55% goes, 55%, I don't think he's bad. I just do really feel like you want to go full into the additional as an AGL unit. Just give him a level 5 silver equip, and that's not correct. I apologize. That should be a level 2. That should be a level 2. My bad. Level 2 defense orb. Just keep in mind to switch out your these equips if this unit does get anniversary special orbs. The more than likely the anniversary special orbs are going to be better. So just make sure you do switch these out with those if they do release them. So far they have not released special equips for these anniversary units. And over here for dupes, I do suggest you just kind of go full into additional. Additional is the best way to go for this unit. You're stacking up defense on the with the Goku. You're stacking up damage with the Vegeta. I just feel like additional is the best way to go to actually help the unit and push his passive and the Gogeta form even further beyond. I think it is the best line to go with. I do not think you have to go for crit, but if you do give him some crit, it will give you the opportunity to be doing damage in the Vegeta and Goku exchange points, if you so choose to. I would also suggest for your equipment to give him maybe an attack orb, because that's really what you're using Gogeta for, is to just do some serious, insane amounts of damage. He is a defensive unit, but he's also just doing so much damage as well. I feel like you'll get more stonks out of the damage orb than anything, but I wouldn't blame you necessarily if you did just want to just push the additional even further. As far as the silver and gold equip, I would just suggest kind of dual additional and crits, but primarily focus on additional orbs if that's all that you got. And once again, if we get 10th anniversary special equipment orbs for this Gogeta, make sure you swap these out for those. Moving on to the next build here. This build is more so if you're just going to rely on the fact that Gogeta is going to be doing the damage. I wouldn't necessarily blame you, because the dodge will technically help the Goku out, specifically with how low his defense can be until he actually gets additionals going off. So I wouldn't necessarily blame you on this one, but I still suggest you keep the attack orb in there, keep the damage rolling, keep the additional going to stack up the additionals for more damage once you get into the Gogeta state. That would be the best course of action. And once again, switch these out to whatever the 10th anniversary equipment orbs are going to be if we get them for these units. Because I'm recording this video before they have released them. Now, for the role tips, I do feel like Gogeta is primarily a damage dealer, but I could honestly tell you, he's literally everything. He's a tank, he's a support, he's a leader, he's a damage dealer, he's everything. So, just keep that in mind. As far as leader options go, I would say he himself is his best leader. The Super Saiyan Trio is an excellent leader for that off-turn support rotation. And then, of course, the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, Family Kamehameha Gohan, and the Tech Goku exchange unit that transforms into Vegito is a very good partner as well. So for partners are pretty obvious. You probably really want to go for the Tech Goku Vegeta if you have the Vegeta to exchange into. He would be a perfect slot 1 unit to go along with this Gogeta unit here. Although I will say that both the STR and the Tech Gogeta and Vegito units are good units to pair along link-wise. They're not necessarily good for slot 1 usage, which is what this unit needs up until you get to the Gogeta state. I do feel like the Super Saiyan Trio would be a good option as a slot 1 unit, of course. You just have to make sure you give them a proper amount of orbs to be able to fill that slot 1 option to go alongside this Gogeta unit while they're stacking up attack and defense, depending on which one you went into. Same thing here on the partner side. I think if you're running a Tech Goku Exchange Vegeta leader, you can rock the Goku or Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks so that you have good solid slot 1 option to be able to freely and safely stack up in slot 2. Which brings me to the best slot option here. If you're in the Vegeta state, it is safest for him to be into slot 2. Slot 1 he can be, but his pre-super defense is just not super high. But once you're able to exchange into Goku, he is a good slot 1 dodge tank, but you do have to be very wary that he could easily end the whole run for you, as he has very little defense until he is actually stacked up for another turn or two. So although he is a better option in slot 1, and Vegeta is a better option in slot 2, they do have their defensive weaknesses that could cost you. I think the best thing you can do for this unit is to make sure they are paired with a very solid slot 1 option that you can freely swap out when you are comfortable. And at that point, once you actually transform into Gogeta, Gogeta can go into literally any slot that you so choose, but obviously slot 1 is his best position to just tank and just do absurd amount of damage, because he negates status ailments on him. So I mean, he's not going to get stunned, or at least I'm assuming he can't get stunned, but maybe that's only when he actually comes into the turn, who knows. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for right now. I think that's it. This was a pretty long one. They were both easy and difficult to build. I really need to take some time to make a team suggestion for them, because I do feel like they have a lot of places they can go to. They have a lot of team options that they can rock and utilize. And I really want to just give you those best options for different types of players. So anyways, guys, do let me know how you're going to choose to build this AGL Gogeta unit. What teams are you going to utilize them on? And good luck on your summons. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.